So welcome back, everyone. Previously, we were talking about the models we were using before deploying, and so we finally decided upon a model to use. So now we're going to take you through our deployment of the Fantasy Premier League player performance estimation model. So firstly, the model we used was an XGBoost model. So I'll take us through briefly through the code. So firstly, our code it draws, of course, from our data set, and then it splits. These are the features which are needed for this prediction, and then our target was total points because that's the most important aspect when it comes to Fantasy Premier League. The more points you have, the better off you are. So that's our target. And then after splitting them into training and testing, um, we ran the XGBoost model. And then after that, we used it to help us predict points. So what happened was the first step here for position mapping is essentially encoding our features because the XGBoost model it it works with objects. So we had to first encode the different element types, and then for this part we were dropping the elements with missing values or with unexpected values. For example, if someone maybe if there's an error in the data set and there's goalkeeper with GKP instead of GK, so it drops that or it ignores that rule. So anyways, the main part of the code is it makes a dictionary for the top players. And what happens is in our XGBoost model, it makes the top players, the best players, or it predicts total points for every player in the dataset. So our model is going to get a specific element type, which is position, so goalkeeper, and then it will look through all the total points, and then it will rank, maybe first rank them in order. So for example, from the best, and then it will get the best goalkeepers in the total points aspect, and then put them in our dictionary. After it's done that, it will go to defenders, look through the total points, find the defenders, the top 5 defenders with the most total points, put them in our dictionary. So to do that for the midfielders and for the forwards. After doing that, it will those players in our dictionary will then be saved in separate Excel sheets or files, and then they will be like kept separately. So there will be a file for the top 5 goalkeepers, top 5 defenders by total points. So that's the first part of the XGBoost. And then the other aspect is now coming up with the teams. So we'll first of all load the different files. And then what will happen is for the 5 different teams, there could have been 6, there could have been 10, but we say it start with 5. So what it does is it will get a goalkeeper from the top 5 goalkeeper list, choose any of them, and then go through the defenders, choose any 4 from the top 5, and then do the same for midfielders, do the same for forwards, like random players from each list, from each positional list, and then it will come up with a team. After it's done with that team, it will do that again until it makes 5 different teams. So yeah, that's what this part does, and then it will keep them in a file in a folder called teams. So what then happens is for the other part of our project is when we're deploying, it will now get the predicted players and then the teams. So here it will now, if we go to, let's say, the part which will be showing teams, it will just go through our team files, select a team from there, and then display it. But then the other aspect is for predicting players, which is also in our deployed model. So what happens is if you enter there will be like a form. So you enter the player's first name and then their second name. So it will go through the first names and second name in the database, and then it will find players who have those two names, so that their first name and their second name. So that will be a unique player, and then it will then use its features, the ICT index, goals scored, assists, clean sheets for defenders and goalkeepers, yellow cards, red cards, all the features, and then predict the total points from each, and then it will submit um, the total points for that player you've looked up. So that's essentially like going through the code of what it does. And yeah, so my colleague Pius will take us through how it's done. Like he will.
All right. Thank you. Now to proceed after having developed the back end, now we are going to see how the front end works and how they are connected. So first, we developed a graphical user interface where an FPL manager can interact with the models. So we created one where you can search for, or you can get points for a specific player by filling a form. Then we also created one where instead of getting a single player, we give you all the 11 players to choose. And now to begin with the predict player points. And when you click on the button, you're directed to a form where you fill in the first name and the last name of the player. Now, for example, I'm going to put in there like Mohamed Salah, and the model will be able to predict the points Mohamed Salah can gain from a season. So we see that Mo Salah can gain a total of 219, approximately 220 points for season, indicating how influential he is. Now, another player like maybe Bukayo Saka, we can see that he's able to gain a total of 106 points. Yeah, so that's basically the prediction of points on a single player. So if we can look at the other concept of instead of giving you the points of a single player, the model instead generates 5 different teams, and each team has players, or it can have similar players in different teams, but keeps on changing depending on what the model returns. So we have the first team indicating that sells the best goalkeeper in the first team. Then we have defenders like Aina, Rabdio, Alexander Arnold, all, yeah, like that. So the model gives you a total of 5 teams, as my colleague said. So we have some players appear in multiple teams, indicating how crucial they are for their teams. And this the FPL manager, if he's biased, on a single player, is able to pick a single team or use different teams basing on their decision. So like team 3, we see that we have a different goalkeeper from team 1, indicating that there are different options around goalkeepers and midfielders. You can see that midfielders like Mbuemo and Musala appear in multiple teams, indicating how crucial they are for FPL managers. Yeah, so basically that was our ML operations and deployment on our project, FATAS. Yeah, thank you.